A whopping 92% of Tapology users believe that Zhang Weili will beat Amanda Lemos this Saturday, with the majority of those users thinking she will win by knockout. And only a slim minority believe that the fight will even go to the final bell. So what makes MMA fans so confident that Zhang Weili will defend her belt against her Brazilian opponent? It seems like very few people are giving Amanda Lemos a chance. So I went ahead and watched back through each fighter's last several fights to see if I could figure out why people are so confident that Lemos will lose. And as I watched back through the fights, there were one, maybe two things that Lemos does that makes me have a little bit of concern for Zhang Weili defending her belt. But first, let's see how these two fighters stack up against each other. Looking at how these two match up against each other, the two fighters are the same height, with Lemos holding a 2-inch reach advantage over Zhang. While Zhang Weili just turned 34 this week, Lemos is still 2 years older. When it comes to their records, Zhang is the much more experienced fighter with 10 more MMA fights than Lemos. Of Zhang's 23 wins, she's won 48% of them. That's 11 fights by knockout. Against Lemos, who has finished 62 of her fights, that's 8 fights by knockout. Zhang Weili has won 8 fights by submission and never been submitted, whereas Lemos has won 3 fights by submission against 1 loss. Now, I tried to see what the belt ranking of both of these fighters were in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I know that Zhang Weili is a BJJ brown belt, but I couldn't see what kind of ranking Lemos had. Last I could see was a post from 2018 where she held a white belt, so I'm not sure if she has advanced from there, but it does look like Zhang Weili will have the grappling advantage. Both fighters go to a decision only around 16% of the time, and I think there's a good chance that this fight doesn't hit the final bell. When we're talking about what Zhang Weili can do well, she can really do it all. She can strike and knock you out. She can take you down to the mat with her wrestling and submit you. She's a fighter with very few weaknesses, and at this point, she's fought at the championship level for a long time. She's beaten some really good opponents, and she has the cardio to be able to go 5 rounds. When I think about Zhang Weili's style, I think about combinations. I think about really well put together, accurate, significant strikes that eventually will overwhelm her opponents. She puts a lot of pressure on her opponents and is rarely outgunned and outmuscled. Against Amanda Lemos, I'm not sure that Lemos is going to be able to handle Zhang Weili's pressure very well. Of what I saw in Lemos's past fights, she didn't always handle pressure very well and sometimes backed up against the cage and didn't always know how to conduct herself in the clinch. Zhang Weili is really strong in the clinch and throws really potent knees and elbows, and I could see this being a big pitfall for Lemos. As the fight goes on, Zhang Weili's pressure is just going to intensify. Her volume is going to far outland Lemos, and if Lemos can't hang, she could find herself drowning against the attack of Zhang Weili. But while Zhang Weili may overall have a wrestling and grappling advantage over Lemos, that doesn't mean that Lemos can't grapple. Everything that I saw from her grappling showed her handle herself really well. Even when she was on her back, she was always able to keep things really tight, control the posture of her opponents, and avoid taking very much damage or submission attempts. She's really good at reversing, getting back to her feet, and I wonder if that might be an area where Zhang Weili and Lemos is sort of nullified. The striking game of Amanda Lemos is not that complex. She doesn't have a whole lot of different weapons that she throws, but there's 2 weapons that give me a little bit of concern about how Zhang Weili will be able to handle. The first is the jab of Amanda Lemos. She's going to have a 2-inch reach advantage over Zhang, which isn't significant, but she does use her jab really, really well, not just as a way to set up other combinations or keep her opponents busy, but she actually puts a lot of power behind these jabs and can damage her opponents. We saw when she fought Lavinia Souza that she used the power jab to set up the finish. So Zhang Weili, sometimes when I watched her, was susceptible to the jab, and against someone who has a little bit longer reach like Lemos, we could see Zhang Weili struggling with the jab of Lemos. But the single weapon that gives me the most hesitation about totally backing Zhang Weili against Lemos is the counter right hook of Amanda Lemos. She throws this with a lot of power and throws it both as a secondary combination off the jab, but also as a counter shot against her opponent's combinations. She throws it fast, she throws it hard, and once she has her opponent on the ropes, she is absolutely trying to knock her opponent's heads off. So how does this stack up against Zhang Weili? Well, as we know, Zhang Weili likes to throw a lot of combination punches. She doesn't throw a lot of single strikes unless she's throwing the low kick. So against Amanda Lemos, you're probably going to see her throw some combinations. But as I've seen from Zhang Weili, sometimes she has a tendency to drop her hands a little bit when she throws combinations. Right, that could be one disadvantage of throwing combinations, is that it's a lot easier to keep your hands up when you throw single strikes, whereas when you throw combinations, you're leaving your opponent a lot more gaps to throw counter punches, and your hands may automatically lower as well. That could be the spot that Amanda Lemos is looking for off of the combinations of Zhang Weili to land that big counter right hook. I think Zhang Weili's chin is pretty good still, and she's only ever been knocked out by the head kick of Rose Namajunas, but even that wasn't a clean knockout and just left her stunned on the canvas. So what's the pick here? Well, most likely how I think this is going to go is that Zhang Weili might struggle a little bit with the jab and get tagged a few times with the right hook, but I think ultimately we're going to see her take over in the later rounds. I think we might see her lean on some of her wrestling if she takes too much damage standing up, but I think that her power, her pressure, and her gas tank is ultimately going to outlast Amanda Lemos, although I haven't seen a whole lot to suggest that Amanda Lemos is going to gas out, so I wouldn't be surprised if she's ready for 5 rounds. But Zhang Weili ultimately just has a lot more ways to win this fight, and I think that we're going to see her defend her belt. Do you agree? Do you see anything in either fighter's game that would allow you to pick either one with confidence? Let me know in the comments below.